So my name's Emma Jane Winter. I'm a probation officer. I'm based in Southampton, and I generally work with offenders in the community, but also in prison, preparing them for release.
Thank you. And can you tell us about your experience of supporting somebody through the RJ process?
Yeah, so I think I was approached by your service directly, Michelle, asking if I would consider talking to the service user about restorative justice. So that was done, and he was interested. So we started the process of liaison between yourself and him, preparing him for the sessions.
And how did you find those meetings?
Going back over my notes actually before the meeting, because it was, I forget how long ago it was, but all the different stages, it really reinforced for me how it's quite a drawn out process, but it really needs to be. The thing that I found so useful about it is that it's so well thought out and considered, and the emphasis is on going at the pace of the people involved. So there's no pressure. And actually, what seems to happen is the pressure comes from the people involved themselves and the stress that it brings about. So I thought the communication was excellent. There was quite high levels of contact between us outside of appointments, but also you came and met with him 3 times at the office. And that was all carefully planned. And I think we took quite a lot of time in reassuring him about what the process would look like, the key repetition of what the phases would involve and what was expected of him and how he could contribute. And I think he just felt really part of it as opposed to feeling it was something that was done to him and that he should do.
Excellent. And how did you find the meeting between him and the victim?
Wow. When I said to you that that was one of the highlights of my career, I really wasn't joking. I've been in probation now for about 25 years, and you have moments sometimes where you think this is why I do my job. And it just to see how much it meant to them to be able to get their points of view across to each other, share their perspective. But, their situation was quite complicated because they'd been in a relationship. So being able to reflect on the positives as well as the negatives, I think was really important for both of them. And to do it in an environment where they were so clearly supported, and when things got difficult, when they found it hard to express what they were feeling, we sort of slowed the process down or took a break, or, were able to ask questions of them to make things a bit clearer. So I just thought that the whole process was very thoughtful, even in the fact of where you considered for the venue, and all the thing that I really liked in the preparation for the meeting was being really clear about what questions were going to be asked.
Thank you. And do you think that work supported the work that you were doing with him?
It really did. I think one of the things that was really lovely and also quite sad about his case is that he talked a lot about it being a punishment. We reinforced for him that it definitely wasn't intended to be that, but he felt that it was really important and he had a duty to follow through and see his victim and speak to her. Um, uh, I think he wanted to do that anyway, but knowing that she had wanted to be part of the restorative justice process. And I think for him as well, he'd been approached in 2019 in prison, and some of that work had started with him, but he just wasn't in the right, neither of them were in the right space to do it. And so it was stopped and then restarted at a time where he was much more receptive. And I think it was, a much better time for him to be doing it. But for him, he felt really guilty about how well he'd done on license and in the community. And he felt that he'd committed this horrendous crime and it had given him all the help and support that he'd needed to resettle into the community. and that he perhaps shouldn't be entitled to that because of what he'd done. And it was, I've never really seen anybody reflect on their offending in that way.
What would you say to sort of your probation colleagues about either supporting somebody with the process or identifying individuals that might benefit from RJ?
I think, first of all, to always have it in the back of your mind as something that could be possible for some of the cases that you're working with. And even if you're not sure, getting in contact with the restorative justice team and talking it through with them, talking to the service user themselves and giving them a bit more information, because a lot of them will think it's this really scary, horrendous process that is there to confront them with an angry victim who's going to say and do lots of awful things. And it's not about that at all. And also, I think now, because I've had the experience of going through it, I feel like I can talk really genuinely about that process from my perspective. So I've said to colleagues, they want me to have a chat with their service user about, you know, how it was and the sort of different stages. I'm happy to do that. But yeah, just to always consider it and be thinking of those people who are making the right noises really in supervision, showing the right attitude towards somebody who might be amenable to going through the process.